Hi, a few days back I had uploaded a post in the community tab of YouTube asking you to pour in the questions that you would like me to discuss in the Q&A session Career Guidance. And this is my first video of Q&A session Career Guidance in English. So let's right away get on to the questions because we had a lot of questions that came in the community tab and I've picked a few questions for answering today. And the first question is from Navjot Yadav. And Navjot Yadav wants to be a mentalist and he's asking me for the courses that he should pursue after grade 12 for becoming a mentalist. Navjot, for becoming a mentalist, there are no particular courses as such in India like a BA Mentalism or a BSc Mentalism or a BTech Mentalism, nothing like that. But we should understand about the skill sets that is required to become a mentalist. As you know, when mentalists perform, we even feel that these people have got supernatural powers, right? Because that's the way that they perform. Mentalism is an art. So if you want to become a mentalist, there are certain skill sets that you really need to work on. Things like understanding the body language of the people, your observation skills should be enhanced, your memory power should be enhanced. So these are the things that you should work on. But after 12th, if you want to pursue a degree, then psychology would be of help to you. So think of BA Psychology or BSc Psychology. And to become a mentalist, you have to do tons of practice. So start your practice right away. Diya Ramesh. Diya is asking me the scope of becoming a BArch. BArch is Bachelor's in Architecture. BArch is a 5-year course in India with 4-year college education and 1 year of internship. That's BArch. To pursue a BArch course in India, we need to know about 3 entrance examinations, of which the first one is NATA, the second one is the JEE Paper 2, and the third one is AAT. Now coming to the scope of becoming an architect, as you all know, to design, to conceptualize any building or any landscapes, you need to know architecture. So to become an architect, you need to have a lot of creativity. That is the key skill that you require to become an architect. Anywhere, any place, you see a lot of buildings, right? So there should be someone to conceptualize and design all those things. So even in future also, there will be a lot of requirement for architects. But if you want to be recognized as an architect in the market, then you should have the skill sets to design buildings that nobody else designs. I mean, you should come out with novel designs. So if that creativity is there, of course, there is a lot of scope in becoming an architect. Diya, I've answered you. Next question is from Akash Suresh. Akash is asking me about how to become a IPS officer. Now, the first thing, Akash, there are a lot of people who think that to become an IPS officer, IAS officer or IRS officer, there are like different types of entrance examination or different examinations to write. No, it's not like that. There is only one thing that you have to focus on, and that is the Indian Civil Service Examination. In the Indian Civil Service Examination, there are like different services, of which one is IPS, another is like Administrative Service, which is IAS, then comes your IFS, which is Foreign Service. There are a lot of things as such. So to become an IPS officer, after completing your grade 12, you have to do any degree, because the eligibility of writing Indian Civil Service Examination asks you to complete a degree program, but it is not mandatory that like it should be in this subject or that subject. No, that's totally your choice. You can even go for BA History or BA English or even BTech or MBBS, because those are also degree programs, right? So once you complete your degree program, then you apply for the preliminary examination of Indian Civil Service, which is a multiple choice question level of exam, MCQ exam, fine. It has got general knowledge as well as like general aptitude. Once you clear your preliminary examination, then you get on to the second level, which is called the main examination. And in the main examination, it's not MCQ type, it's not objective, it is a descriptive level of examination. And if you clear the main examination, then you will be called for an interview. Finally, the marks that you score for your main examination as well as interview will be calculated and the rank list will be published. And if you get higher ranks, then of course, whatever service that you wish for, you can get it. But if your rank is low, that means in the rank list, if you're coming low in your ranks, then it will be a little difficult for you to get the post that you wish for. So, this is how you become an IPS officer. And Akash, if you're really aiming to be an IPS officer, I would request you to start working on your general knowledge and current affairs. And what does that mean? Come on, start reading your newspapers. That's it. Suvarna says, Suvarna is asking me about B.Pharm and its opportunities. Suvarna, I had done a very detailed video in how to become series, wherein like I've interviewed a person who has completed B.Pharm and M.Pharm and has discussed about all the opportunities that are there for a pharmacy professional. So please watch that video to get the entire details of B.Pharm as well as PharmD. I will put that thing in the I link here, so just click that and watch the video to get the details. Then comes Prince Josh. Prince is asking me about the opportunity of BSc Geology. What after BSc Geology? That's his question. So once you complete your BSc Geology, there are a lot of master degree courses that you can pursue. But right after BSc Geology, if you ask me about the career option, I would tell you to better opt for your master degree also, because that will give you better opportunities. Fine. In master degree courses, there are a lot of specializations available, like your MSc Geology, MSc Applied Geology is there, Marine Geology, Land Geology, Hydrogeology, so many things are there. So while you do your BSc Geology program, you will get an idea on which is that area that you would like to specialize. Take that course for your master degree and go further. When I talk from an Indian scenario, I would say that like a lot of people who pursue geology related courses look for a position in GSI, which is the Geological Survey of India. As you all know, there are like a lot of organizations under the central government which requires geologists, and the application to all these organizations and taking in happens through UPSC, which is the Union Public Service Commission. UPSC conducts examinations every year for taking geologists on board. So to write this examination, the basic qualification is master degree, not bachelor's degree. So you need to complete a master's degree. But that does not mean that you have to do a master degree in geology itself, because in certain positions, like in the GSI, we have a post called geophysicist. To become a geophysicist, it's not mandatory that it should be MSc Geology. You can even complete your MSc Physics or MSc Applied Physics and then apply for these things. Even there is a post of a chemist which only requires MSc Chemistry. It does not require geo something. Okay, so this is one thing that you can look for, Prince. And Prince has also asked me one more question. Best job opportunity course after 12th PCM. Come on, Prince, this is something which I always tell everybody. Without knowing you people personally, how can I guide you? Because I don't know your aptitude, I don't know your passion, I don't know your skill. So blindly, if you ask me, I've completed my PCM, could you suggest me a course? Nah, I won't be able to do that because I don't know you. So better do an aptitude test and know your aptitude and passion, and then ask me questions like this. Your first question was like, could you tell me the job opportunities after BSc Geology? In such a Q&A session, I can tell you that. But if you ask me the best course after 12th PCM, no. I would say like all courses are good, but it depends on your passion, skills and interest. Fine. Then comes Dominic Kula. Dominic is asking me, please help me, after BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering, can we join MTech in Aeronautical Engineering? Can we change the branch? Yes, you can pursue MTech, but not in all universities. Not all universities will give you an option to pursue this course after completing BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. And your second part of question, can we change the branch? Yes, there are a lot of people who changes the branch after doing their BTech, because in BTech, if you have taken a generic branch, then it is, then there are like so a lot of options that you can take when you go for your MTech, and there are a lot of people who does like that. They change their branch, but it's not like from probably mechanical engineering to computer engineering. No, they don't do like that. So while you take your BTech program, this is my kind advice to everyone who is listening to me right now. When you are taking a BTech program, whether it be BTech or any BSc or BA, any bachelor's degree for it matters, it's better to do a generic program than to specialize in something right away at your bachelor's program, because In your masters, the specialization options becomes very limited if you have taken a very specialized subject for your bachelor's degree. So better do a course which is generic for your bachelor's and then go for a specialized thing for your masters. There are so many questions that have come, but I don't think that I'll be able to cover all those questions in this session. So in the next session, let's discuss about the other questions too. So as comments to this video, please pour in the questions that you would want me to discuss in the next Q&A session, Career Guidance in English. See you soon. Bye-bye.